Happy New Year's, kids. Happy New Year's.
Yeah, it was funny you just said that because I just heard somebody out there say, is the Gameday Huddle on live right now? It was literally a second before you said, is the Gameday Huddle on live?
We are definitely on live now. It is 2022.
Yeah.
When you think back, because you guys are both my age, we're very similar.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking last night, I'm like, I graduated high school in 2000. That's 22. I don't feel that old. But I know back then, like...
You graduated in 2000?
You just made me feel old.
When did you graduate? 96?
No, I was 95.
95?
I was 96.
95,
you were 96,
96.
so I'm the oldest one in the room.
Yeah, you look the youngest out of
I
the
think,
three.
I think we're probably the same
then.
age, though, because I could have graduated 95.
So there you go. Born in 77?
Yep.
There you go. See?
Oh,
so we're
okay.
the same age.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking last time, man, it's been 22 years since I got out of high school. It seems like just yesterday.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, you don't go to the graduation things anymore, do you? The reunions?
No.
Yeah.
I never went to one.
I think I went to my 10 year, and that was it.
I didn't.
Was it.
Yeah, I was invited to all that stuff, and I just never went.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you're like, it is what it is.
You're like, oh, what do you do? Like, I sell baseball cards.
Yeah.
And like, that's awesome. They're like, yeah, I like Pokemon and baseball. And they're like, that's
right?
Cool, man. That's nice talking to you.
Yeah,
It's
good.
good
Glad you're
catching
doing
up.
good. All right, we'll see you later. Little do they know, I pulled up in a Maserati out front.
Yeah, they don't know anything about baseball cards.
Well, they were just showing this. There was this study that was just done. It was people were like really open with what they're making or something like that, and it's like all these skill places, all these skill positions, the pharmacist, the CPA, like all these people were like $30,000-$40,000 a year, and then like. You know, some random YouTuber who talks about vintage clothing, like I'm clearing $250 this year.
Yeah, and he's got his own baseball card because I saw it in the creators box over there.
Exactly.
Well, it's funny because at the Nationals this last year in Chicago, we're sitting there and there was a kid that came up to the table and I started talking to him, and he's carrying around one of the cases that everybody always carries around, and he walks up and says, "Hey, you buying? You selling? You trading?" I'm like, "Sure, yeah. Let me see what you got." And this kid, mind you, he was 16 years old. Because I asked him, I go, how old are you? He's like, I'm 16. I go, when did you start collecting? He goes, 2 years ago. My dad gave me $5,000 to start investing. I'm like, oh. I pull out his case. His case had over $1 million in it.
Are you serious?
I shit you not. A kid, 16 years old, walking around with a case that has over $1 million in it. And I'm looking at this kid, I'm like, I go, you started with $5,000? He's like, yeah, I started 3 years ago buying and flipping on on YouTube and TikTok, and I have my channel now, and I'm doing pretty good. And I looked him up. He's doing better than pretty good. He's got 30,000 followers. He's crushing it. And he literally, his cards make mine. And I've been doing this my whole life.
Yeah.
And I've been collecting seriously since 2015. His cards made me look like shame. I'm like, what the hell was I doing? If this young 15-year-old kid can turn $5,000 into over $1 million in collection, and that's probably not even what he's cashed out, because I'm sure he's cashed out to buy some things or give his mom and dad some money or whatever. But it's like, Jesus, this industry.
Just to piggyback on that, the greatest investment that Dad made was giving his son $5,000 to do that.
Exactly.
So that was a great investment. And we'll find out about your investment when we talk about what we're going to talk about this weekend, what we saw this weekend. Absolutely. We'll find out about your big investment that we want to talk about.
This week has a lot riding on what I need. If you guys want to jump right into it, we'll jump right into it.
It's crazy. I mean,
so after
you want to jump into yours? That's good.
Let's do it. Right into what we saw this week. Well, first thing we saw, and I think it's taken over the sports world today. On every talk show you turn on, every podcast you're going to listen to, you're going to hear about Antonio Brown. Mm-hmm. And like, if you did not see it, I don't know where you were or what's going on. But oh my God, it is the most ridiculous thing. As you can see, the game is still going on. And he takes off his pads. Well, before that, you could see him and Mike Evans over there talking. Yeah. And Mike Evans like, nah, man, don't do it. You could tell him, say, like, no, don't do it. Come on.
He tried to hold his jersey on.
Keep it on him. And then finally Mike Evans was like, I'm a grown-ass man. I'm not going to be trying to
get out. And he left. He walked away. Yeah.
He's like, all right, I'm done. And then all of a sudden, AB takes his shoulder pads off. He takes his shirt off.
Mm-hmm. When he throws his shoulder pads, by the way, there's someone sitting on the bench in the background with they don't move don't flinch a second. The look is just dumbfounded the entire time, and it's just off camera. It's the most amazing thing.
The best was the coaches. Yeah. So when now all the videos are starting to come out, and you see the coaches' faces. The look of disgust. It's like, we all have kids. It's when your kid, like when he was little, poos in his pants, and you just know your wife's nowhere around, so you know you're gonna have to change it. And you just look at him like, you little son of a bitch, you know what you just did. And so they're looking at AB exactly like that, like we opened our arms to you.
Yes,
we let you come into our fold.
Gave you a fourth chance.
Won you a Super Bowl, for God's sakes. Yeah, and then now you're gonna do this again to us.
Well, and this thing became such a meme, right? Mm-hmm. That there's crazy memes out there. This one here is just AV trying to catch the plane.
Headed back to Tampa.
Right.
That's the best.
That's ridiculous. There's all kinds of craziness with the memes that are out there already. Yeah. It just blows my mind how fast.
How about the downtown card?
Yeah.
Somebody's already made the downtown card in a PSA 10.
Can Panini please
They already
make
got
this
the
card?
10, yeah.
Please make this card. Seriously, make this card. This needs to be a thing, and make it like of 10 and of 100, and leave it at that. But then make it like
Giannis probably already has
moments. One. Yeah. Giannis already owns one.
Oh yeah, for sure. Giannis gets everything. Everything early for Giannis.
He does.
But like Jay was saying, what were you saying about AB and everything that was going on?
Oh, so he only had, just to give you kind of a perspective on this, he obviously had the rest of that game because that happened in the third quarter. So he had the whole second half pretty much, and he has obviously next week, which Tampa Bay still has to play for their seeding. Okay? So he gave up. He only needed 8 more catches for $330,000 to bump up. 55 receiving yards only for another $333,000, and then 1 more touchdown for another $333,000. So he essentially gave up $1 million, which all of these, it wasn't like he needed 27 more catches. All of these are attainable in a game and a half. 8 catches, 55 yards, and a touchdown. $1 million would have kicked in for bonuses.
Now, the guy, there's questions about his mental health.
Yeah, CTE, obviously.
And all this stuff. He went on Twitter and posted that the reason that he got upset was because the coaches were trying to push him back in the game when he felt he wasn't healthy enough.
Okay.
That his ankle injury was back
He has a rebuttal to that.
So, and then the training staff has came out and said never once did AB come to them and say that he was injured. but the head trainer already came and said, never once did AB come to any of the training staff and say, my ankle or my foot is hurting. Never once. So he's trying to come up with excuses to cover himself right now. The odds-on truth is he has serious mental issues, and inside that game, he felt as if they were trying to keep him from making that money.
Right.
100%, that's what happened. He felt that's why Arians pulled him out of the game, because he did. They pulled him out right before half and didn't play him until the third quarter. He felt that the Bucks were trying to keep him from getting his bonuses. So then everything explodes when Arians, now it's the third quarter, they actually get back in the game. So when they were losing by a lot, they pull AB out. They get back in the game. They're only down 2 scores now. Tom Brady, we all know, is going to come back and win this game because that's what he does.
Yep.
So Arians says, now it's time for you to go in, and AB took it as a slap in the face. Oh, now you want me to come back in.
Okay,
That's what happened.
But we all know that Tom Brady, the way Tom Brady is in every story and every documentary you've seen about Tom Brady, is that you know damn well he would have gotten it for him.
100%.
He know he would have.
If he throwing him the ball every single time until he got it.
He would have. 100%. In this game and the next.
Yep.
So I don't know if I buy that 100%. Maybe that's the way Antonio Brown felt, and obviously we don't know how he's going to feel because we're not him. But like that's the way I feel about it, is that Tom Brady would have pushed to make sure that he got those bonuses.
Now, there's a bigger question off of what Jimmy was saying, and that is, was this actually Tom Brady being Tom Brady, or was this actually the Jets being the Jets?
Oh, it was 100% the Jets being the Jets, because I watched that game at the very end.
How do you go for it on 4th down and not kick the field goal? I don't care if you're not going to the playoffs or not. That is such a bad thing to establish for your
with 2
team.
minutes and 14 seconds still left.
How
So
do you
I
do
know
that?
Tampa Bay had no timeouts left, but they still had a 2-minute warning, and you go for it on 4th and 2 on the 10-yard line. Like just kick
Kick
the
the field goal.
Yeah.
Kick the field goal.
Make them get a touchdown,
Right.
and they can either
they've
go for the
gotta
tie
go.
or they have to go for the 2 and the win.
Speaking about bad coaching, so if that does not cost this guy his job, the Utah Utes, for God's sake. So yes, I'm biased because we had big money going in on Ohio State this weekend. We bet them -4 going into the game. I thought it had no chance. They fumbled in the end zone, threw a pick in the end zone, gave up a kickoff return for a touchdown, which never happened. When does a kickoff return happen ever anymore? So I thought I had no chance. However, they go up 7, and then they just let the Utes come back down and score. But then they get so now Ohio State has the ball. They drive all the way down. There's 58 seconds left. Utah has 3 timeouts. 58 seconds left, and Ohio State's on the 10-yard line. The coach elects to not call a timeout. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to kick the field goal with 7 seconds left on the... You have 3 timeouts. Why are you not forcing them to try...
anything
to make a mistake?
Yes.
It's not like you get them next year.
Right.
Don't roll over.
You have the opportunity to call a timeout with 53 seconds. Worst case scenario, they go for it on 3rd down there with 53 seconds left. They throw an incomplete pass. Now it's 4th down. The clock stopped. You have 2 timeouts, and you got only give up 3.
Yeah. Right.
So now you have
you still have time.
50 seconds to go get a field goal.
Right.
And Ohio State has shown you that they haven't stopped you all game.
Right.
So you're going to get 3.
So what would I don't understand what the logic behind that would be.
There's
Did
no
he
logic.
explain it?
No logic. He's a complete moron. If you're listening right now, you cost me $1,700 and you're an idiot. Just so you know. And if I see you in person, I'll tell you the same exact thing.
Well, and
how do you do that crap?
I'm going to tell you my takeaway on that game, and just real quick to talk college football for 2 seconds, is I've now, because of having to watch that team roll through and win the West or win Pac-12 and all this stuff, I'm going to go out and say that their quarterback is one of the top quarterbacks next year and coming up in the 23 draft. That kid is unbelievable. And Ohio State won the lottery with him getting hurt because they were going to get boat raced with him in the game. He was going to boat race Ohio State, and that was going to be the big talk of everything, and he got hurt. And they got lucky, and that's purely it. And then also I have to say for Ole Miss, the quarterback from Ole Miss getting hurt too, and his ankle. Like, the guy goes, he plays when he doesn't need to. He's probably the top quarterback going in the draft, and that's kind of like his swan song there. And that is going to be the defining moment in college football moving forward for any quarterback that is draft heavy coming out playing in a bowl game unless it's for a national title.
Right.
Because that's not going to happen.
And this is the only way we can fix this problem with these kids. Well, Ohio State had 20 starters not play this game.
Yeah.
20. So now we're watching backups. Yeah, backups at Ohio State are probably better than 95% of the others that are playing. But we're watching backups against almost a full team with Utah. They only had 2 starters not playing in the game.
Yep.
So the only way that we possibly can make these bowl games matter ever again is to extend the playoffs. They have to have 8 to 12 teams.
They're going to have to.
Because that's the only way these games are even going to matter.
Yeah.
Now that this kid from Ole Miss just got hurt,
Yeah.
nobody will play next year.
Nobody
Right.
I promise you, nobody plays that.
I
If
said,
they're a
I said
guaranteed
if
first rounder, the only way they're
will
going to
not
play
play.
is if they're like teetering on the edge to where
Right.
they have to bump up their draft stock.
Yep.
If you're one of those guys that you're like kind of like, we're not sure about this guy, but if you're a surefire first round pick, why would you play?
Yeah, I said at the
Why would you play? You
Pac-12
cost yourself
champion-
millions of dollars.
I said at the Pac-12 championship, and I said Oregon's, stud defensive lineman. I'm like, he's not playing.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
He
He's
shouldn't.
not. And he literally came out of the game, and the first interview he took, he goes, "I'm not playing in the bowl game."
Right.
Like, just I'm gonna squash it now.
The dude from Michigan,
This
like he's
is-
obviously playing for
yeah.
a national title, but he got exposed. He looked terrible
Yeah,
in the
He
game.
looked bad.
Yeah, and
It just
he
cost
ruined.
him.
Yeah, he ruined
Probably,
it.
yeah, he probably was going to be the number 1 overall
Correct.
pick. Going after that game,
Yeah.
he went up against Georgia's left tackle that is all pro, and
Yeah.
he's going to be drafted in the first round,
Yeah.
and he owned him
Yes.
the whole game.
And,
Right.
and they're
Owned
saying that might have actually flipped draft stock on those. two,
Correct.
which doesn't happen.
Right.
It's just crazy. So this stuff is nuts, and that
Without
stuff's
getting injured, he
crazy,
cost himself
and-
millions.
Yeah.
So what did you see?
What I saw really fast here, Jamar Chase. Let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals just for a
Okay.
minute because no one ever talks about the Cincinnati Bengals. So we're going to.
Let's cue this video real quick.
Let's
no.
cue the video.
Wide open. It's Chase. Chase. There is no Chase. It's a touchdown.
How can it be more wide open
Nobody's going to.
throughout the year?
My favorite
They
part.
haven't twice, though.
My favorite part of the video is he's running half speed.
Yeah.
Right. And they said, "Oh, no one's gonna catch him."
Yeah.
Yes,
yes.
Dude, he walked in the end zone.
No chase.
No chase
Actually,
for
no
Chase.
But that happened 2 times. So like you make a mistake, right? It was a bad read. The defense blew it. You made the same mistake twice. He had 2 65-yard plus touchdowns in that game. Like
Let me ask you this. Now, this is just absolutely crazy thought. But is Andy Reid that much of an evil genius that he would single cover Jamar Chase the whole game, knowing that they may see them in the playoffs, giving the Bengals false sense of
no.
hope? Do
No,
you think
because
that
it
would
cost them the
happen?
number 1 seed. That's why. They had the number 1 seed locked up. All they had to do was win. And it cost them the number 1 seed, and now Tennessee Titans are number 1 seed. So now they get a bye, and guess who gets to come back after their bye? If all things land the way it is right now, Derrick Henry gets to come back. So now you just
Yeah,
gave
he'll
Derrick
be
Henry.
ready?
Yeah,
Yes.
Henry will be back. Yeah.
Henry's already back at practice, but they're not going to play him this week because they play some scrub team.
And they already have it locked
And they already have it locked up, the division locked up, right?
Well, and
they play
Deonta
Houston.
Foreman is
They play Houston.
Deonta Foreman has been
Right, and Hilliard. They're
Yeah.
using a committee. They're using Hilliard and Foreman in their backfield. So it's obviously the offensive line is a really good offensive line, right?
Yeah.
But there's no way they would do that because now KC lost their number 1 seed in their first round bye, and you basically gave Tennessee an extra week to let Derrick Henry recover more.
Although that's not set.
It's not
I mean,
set, but you lost it. As of right now, if
foreshadowed that it's going to be that way.
If Tennessee wins and KC wins next week, which both we plan on happening, that stays the same.
Well,
And-
let's roll back. If Tennessee and Casey lose and the Bengals win, the Bengals will be the 1 seed. So
They would, 'cause they
you
beat
would have
Kansas.
lost to the team that's going to jump you for the 1 seed on top of it.
So that should answer your question.
I know, but what I'm saying is, does he think this way? And I don't know if he does, because why would you? And I heard it said after he put up 200 yards, why is he still being single covered?
Well,
I mean,
it's a great point. It's like, how do you not roll the safety over to help out? This
Right.
brings you to every major wide receiver that plays in the NFL. If you look at all the good ones,
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins, you look at Odell Beckham in his prime, you look at all these guys that are the hotshot number 1, they always have safety help. Why wouldn't you?
Unless they were giving more value to T. Higgins, but I just don't see that happening.
Well, T. Higgins blew up the week before.
Right.
So let's just face it. They have a good.
right?
They have a good receiver.
They do.
They have a good young team, man.
Of
If they put some more effort into the offensive line during the draft this next year, they're going to be a good team because their defense is actually
for
not
a
bad.
while.
And you look at it, if you play two safeties deep and cover one on Jamar and one on T. Higgins, that's when Mixon just eats
Goes
you
on.
alive.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, they're
Good
going to
balance.
be a
And
good
Tyler Boyd for a number 3 is actually pretty good too.
Yeah, they're going to be a tough team to beat. I see Cincinnati being a really tough team to beat. Going into this, I thought the Cowboys. I have to bring it up.
Yeah.
I thought the Cowboys were going to be probably the team in the NFC that nobody wanted to play, and because the week before they put up 45 or 52 points and gave up only 10. It's like, then this week another goose egg. What the hell is going on with this team?
According to Tom Downey on Twitter, who's one of the Cowboys guys, they've lost 3 games by a combined 8 points. 3 games by 8 points, the Cowboys have. In those 3 games, Greg Zuerlein has left 14 points on the board with missed extra points and missed field goals. So,
Greg the leg.
yeah.
So you're saying
No
all
more.
the blame is on Greg the
Yeah,
leg.
I've been blaming him
everybody always
for
blames
the whole
kicker.
year.
Well, no,
Right?
usually
Laces out, Dan.
with Cowboy fans, usually it's the Zebras. They always blame the refs.
Yeah.
It's
That's
always
Jake.
the refs.
That's Jake. Jake immediately goes on Facebook and blames the referees.
And referees, every single time they lose, it's like, the referees. It's like, well, look at your team. You missed 2 field goals and you missed an extra point. But guess what? That's 7 points. You win the game.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
You know, and I'm going to tell you, I didn't think the defense played that bad.
They don't.
In fact, I thought the
defense
pressure was
doesn't play
amazing.
that bad, and then they shut down the run game. And I know it was only Chase Edmonds, but they shut down the run game besides Kyler Murray in that last couple of drives. But the thing that bothered me the most is that I hate paying running backs, okay? Like, I'll say it. I like the running back position. I'm a fan of Zeke Elliott. I hate when teams give these running backs these gigantic contracts because the shelf life is so small. Because now all it did was handcuff us, and guess what happened? Zeke just looks like a regular guy. Like, he just looks like, whatever. Like, you can get anybody to go out there and do what he's doing, basically. Like, he's not rushing for 100 yards a game. He's not catching 5 or 6 passes a game. We gave him all that money because he was holding out on us. If I was on, I'd be like, okay, hold out. Go ahead. We'll get somebody else. That's fine.
Well,
Tony Pollard, your next man up. Let's go. I'll draft somebody in the 3rd round next year.
Saquon Barkley's coming up this year. This is
Yeah.
his year to get paid. If the Giants pay him any amount of money,
Please pay him.
They need to blow the whole thing up. Are you out of your mind? This guy cannot stay healthy. He's probably one of the best talents at running back, but he can't stay healthy.
He's already breaking down.
Yes, you could get a running back from LSU or from Georgia or from any place.
Louisiana Lafayette.
It doesn't.
Like Elijah Mitchell. Like, you just go
It does not matter. They're all going to do the same thing. If you have good linemen in front, you're going to get yardage.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Well, I'm going to tell you that for you and your Giants, your wish isn't going to come true, but you're going to get something from that division, and that is, I'm going to call it now, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be a Giant next year.
I think so.
Yeah, and here's what's going to happen.
awesome for you guys.
Because
it's not.
after this week or the playoffs for the Niners, Trey will take every snap moving forward.
Okay.
They're going to move him, and they're going to be able to get a pick. And one of the teams that has enough picks and needs help at quarterback is the Giants.
But they're going to keep Daniel Jones. So.
And Joe Judge is still going to be there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And
So that means
he
we're gonna win
coached
another 4
with
games.
Jimmy G in
This is great news.
Foxborough. So
This is like a win for the Cowboys.
Garoppolo is going to end up in blue.
They may
It's
not
gonna
make
happen.
the playoffs either because they still have to beat the Rams, which they already beat them once. And you know the Rams are looking for revenge. So the Niners have to beat the Rams, and the Saints, all they have to do is beat the Falcons. If the Saints beat the Falcons and the Niners lose, the Niners are out. Saints
Because
are
they've
in.
already said that if Garoppolo's healthy,
Yeah.
Trey Lance is not going to play, right? So Garoppolo will play, and it's probably the right move to play the veteran, whatever.
Right.
But after Trey Lance's game yesterday, even though it was against the Texans, there's no answer. He is the quarterback moving forward as soon as the season ends for the Niners. So you got to move him, and that's a team that makes sense.
Is Jimmy G on your investments part of the show?
No, and I'm not going to invest into Jimmy G right now. He is a little too injured.
Only the Giants are going to invest in Jimmy G.
Well, they're going to have to. What they're going to do is they're going to go and they're going to put him out there as like a quarterback to come in to give competition to Daniel Jones.
There you go.
And then he's going to get the job.
When you have 2 quarterbacks, you really have none.
Right. And
You
then,
know that saying.
Right. And he's gonna get the job.
Yeah.
When you say
It's
that,
great.
the first thing that comes to mind is Blaine Gabbert is the backup to Tom Brady.
This is great.
Okay, so
Right.
sorry.
When you have two quarterbacks, you have one.
Right. But anyways, so yeah, I looking at the scope and looking how the National Football League weighs out,
Yeah.
I just see that happening. So I believe that Jimmy Garoppolo will be a Giant next year.
And it very well could happen. I'm still hoping that Sierra, because I know Russell's not listening, but Sierra, me and you, let's go. You want to be in New York.
How mad would you be? How mad would you be
if they got Jimmy G?
If it went Wilson for Wilson?
Oh, God.
And he went to the Jets
If he
instead
goes
of
to
the
the
Giants.
Jets,
Could you imagine?
That'd be great.
Oh man,
That'd be great.
could you imagine though if that happened?
I guess Russell Wilson likes green. He's in green now with Seattle.
Yeah.
He might go to the
He doesn't
Jets.
change any colors.
Could you see that happening though? And I'll be honest with you, there's going to be a coach change probably in Seattle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the coach change is going to happen. It's going to be one of these new young guys. Maybe the coordinator for Dallas is one of the guys that's rumored for
Kellen
it, right?
Moore.
Kellen Moore. And Kellen Moore's a young guy who likes, the prototypical type quarterback if you can get him. So there you go. I don't know. I'm just saying.
We'll see what happens with all the off-season stuff and what Russell Wilson's going to do. He will not be a Seahawk next year.
No, I don't think so either.
He's gone
He
out
can't
of
be.
Seattle.
I actually think, and this is my call on him, he's going to end up in New Orleans.
Yeah.
He's going to be a
So
That'd be a good fit.
my three places are Denver, New Orleans, or the Giants with Russell. I think Aaron Rodgers will be a Steeler next year. For some reason, I just see him going to the Steelers or going to Houston. I don't know why, but
No.
Well, there's that flyer chance that he goes to the Niners because he wants to go back to.
he wants to play in the
Cali,
West Coast. He's a
right.
weird guy, man. It's
He's
hard to
weird,
figure
but
out
he's-
Aaron
but
Rodgers.
he's good. I don't see him going to the Steelers. I just don't.
I
see
think
that.
I personally think that that's a move and that's a possibility that would make a ton of sense for Green Bay because Green Bay would bring Trey Lance back.
Green Bay wants
Right,
to keep.
in that deal, they
wanna
would bring Trey Lance back.
I know, but they want to keep Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
James says Rodgers is Steeler. No way.
That's what I agree with. I agree because there's no way he's going to the Steelers because you got to look at him at his age, right? He knows he's a good quarterback. He needs an offensive line, and Pittsburgh doesn't have an offensive line.
I was going to say
he's going to
seen
go there and
Ben's
just get
offensive
murdered.
line this year.
He's going to go there and get murdered. So
Maybe
why would he
Aaron
want to do
Rodgers
that?
in New York?
No.
Oh, no, I
The
can't get
Giants?
that. Yeah, I can't.
They have a worse offensive line than Pittsburgh does.
No,
Saquon Barkley just rushed for 100 yards yesterday for the first time in 2
where
years.
I could see him go, which would be really random, but very possible, would be to Miami.
Yeah.
That would be a landing spot where Rodgers would go to Miami because there's a lot of intangibles there for him. South Beach, all that stuff, everything that he'd like, and a pretty damn good team, right?
See, I think Denver's my pick.
He would.
If he leaves Green Bay, I think he stays in Green Bay. But if he leaves, he goes Denver.
My argument there is: do I want to go play Herbert twice? I'd argue Carr twice. Mahomes twice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to do that for 6 games of your season, or would you rather go to the AFC East and play? I mean, Mac Jones, sure, Josh Allen, but do any of those guys scare you for Aaron Rodgers? No, but I definitely think at least 2 of the 3 quarterbacks in the AFC West he would have on his. I don't want to face those guys twice a year.
Yeah.
Possibly 3 times.
At least we know there's going to be. This offseason is going to give us a lot to talk about.
A ton to talk about.
Because the whole thing, we're going to get Twitter rumors and Instagram
Tua
posts.
talk.
That's the best thing about football is that I feel like football is just year round. Even in the off season, all the stuff they have lined up makes you talk about football all year long.
Yeah.
To whereas like baseball, you don't really talk about all year long, and basketball, you don't talk about all year long. Football is year long. It's just nonstop.
So what product do we have coming up this week, man? Because I heard something about Bowman's Best.
So Bowman's Best. So first, let's rewind just a little bit. We had Bowman draft come out on
Unbelievable.
What was it?
Friday,
and we already ripped 3 cases of it, and holy crap! It's all the internet's blowing up with everything you look. It's nothing but Bowman Chrome. I'm on 20 different sites on Facebook and Instagram, and every post is all Bowman draft hits after hits after hits,
And everything is Marcelo 15K.
Yeah.
Marcelo 15K.
Marcel Meyer, and then the Lawler kid. Like there's so many good prospects.
Yeah. It's weird to me that Henry Davis is the number 1 overall pick, and he's like the 5th most talked about guy in the entire product.
Half to do is, he's a catcher. And
he's a pirate.
Yeah, and he's a pirate. But catchers don't get a lot of love. It does help that the Red Sox have Meyer.
Yeah.
And last year they had Blaze Jordan. Like, Jesus, if you're a Red Sox fan, you have to be loving it right
Your
now.
pipeline's unbelievable.
Yeah, you're loading up pretty quickly. So Bowman Draft came out. Super Jumbo has not came out. There's no word on if they've printed it at all. It's not shipped from Topps. Everybody's wondering what's up with Super Jumbo because it's not out yet. But regular Jumbo's out. We have some here in the store. It's already, price has gone up. I think it's at $4.75 a box. It opened at $4.25.
Yeah.
Now it's already up to $4.75 a box. By this time next week, we're probably looking $5.50 to $5.75.
Someone was saying that they thought that it easily was going to cap around $6.50.
Yeah.
And that's probably a pretty good
fair
guess.
enough.
And it's an amazing product. It's hard to, and then even some of the inserts that are in it that are coming out that, are quality. Like, you have Bobby Dalbacks and all these incredible hits coming. Like,
See, that's amazing.
Yeah.
My boy Johnny Garcia just came.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in forever.
Yeah.
Let's see if we could get him to come on.
Get him to come on because
Jonathan Garcia, he just he got Trevor Lawrence sitting back there.
He's
Trevor
been
Lawrence
crushing
auto.
the breaks.
I mean, seriously, dude, this guy. I'll tell you right now, this guy is an absolute breaks legend.
Where have you been, bro?
What's going on, bud?
We're live.
We're live.
We are live. We are live.
How have you been crushing?
Come
the
on
breaks
over,
lately?
dude.
Buddy,
Come on over here.
my luck has changed.
Your luck
Has
is-
it changed?
It has changed.
It's unbelievable.
His
has
luck
changed.
has changed for definitely the good, for sure.
For good, absolutely. Only a game day.
I'm telling you.
only
I'm
game
telling
day.
you. So I'm screenshotting product to put up to show that we're hitting in breaks and stuff that we're hitting, right? Because I've been doing that, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, and I screenshot and then I'm like, that's Jonathan Garcia's, and then I screenshot and then I'm like, that's Jonathan Garcia's. And I screenshot and I'm like, holy crap, dude's hitting case hit Brady's, Mac Jones
RPA,
autos.
Yeah.
You got a
Right.
Lawrence auto sitting back there waiting
Yeah, I
for
got
you
a Trevor
too.
Lawrence auto that I hit off of
one of
Monday,
yeah,
Monday
on
night.
a
Illusions.
blitz.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
on the blitz. I mean, it's just I don't know what it is. Something about
It's-
game days.
it's-
I don't know what
it is, dude.
I don't know what it is.
When you're hot, you're hot.
When
That's
you're
all
hot,
that-
you're hot.
That's
That's
all
all
that
it is,
matters.
yeah.
And you've been hot lately, so.
But see, guys, he also enters the breaks, and he's also entering to win Pro Bowl tickets.
So yes,
Ooh.
good promo
Woo.
onto that.
Nice segue.
Every spot that you buy into one of our breaks from the last week of December to the third week of January, we're giving away tickets to the Pro Bowl. We're giving away a two-night hotel stay and $400 in airfare. So as long as you do, you obviously live here.
Yeah, I mean,
But we could turn that right into credit for you. It's a simple
Yeah.
flip.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
how many tickets do you get?
You get two
Get a
tickets.
pair of Pro Bowl tickets,
Pair
man.
of Pro Bowl tickets, and
We're not messing around at game day.
you
See,
can take
that's
the wife and stay over at the M in the nice place. And
No, bro.
relax.
If I win, I'm taking you.
Oh,
Yes!
look at that.
Win.
Yes!
If
Look
I
at
win,
that.
I gotta take you.
That's
bro.
a win
I mean,
for
That's
you,
a
bro.
win for
Yeah.
me. You guys heard it here. I'm
Yeah.
gonna fix the contest with that Jonathan Garcia, and we're going to the Pro Bowl, baby.
Yeah, dude, that would be amazing.
Yes.
That would be amazing for anybody to win.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
that is just.
It's a cool
That's
trip.
unbelievable.
We're giving it away only here at Game Day, like we always do. But Jonathan, we just want real quick.
Yeah, dude. You're
Yeah,
killing it,
no.
man.
We
No,
saw
it's-
you walking by, coming in, so we're like, we gotta get him in here and talk about all his huge hits he's
No, I
crushed.
appreciate it, and it's I love it. It's great. It's
It's
great.
been a fun addiction for the last couple months. Huh?
Yeah, right.
It is a great addiction, but it sucks too. The bank account hurts a little bit, but when you hit,
Yes.
you hit.
But you
Yeah.
have to sell. Your problem is you don't ever sell.
No, I don't. I just
You just keep everything.
Yeah, I think I got to start doing that.
If you sell, the bank account starts going back.
He
Yeah,
was,
you know what?
in
Yeah.
fairness, he was in here about 3 weeks ago, and he was having a conversation about, should I sell this? Should I sell this? I don't know. Maybe I'll let. So I think
Yeah.
you're starting to get there.
You're
and that's
starting
good.
to-
You're starting to get there.
Some stuff. Some other stuff, he's like, I'm just gonna.
I'm just gonna hold on to
Like
it.
the Mac Jones RPA,
Yeah.
I think I might hold on to that one.
That one's probably
Yeah.
a hold for a while.
I think I hit a 1-of-1 too.
You did of Rahamondre Stevenson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it. I skimmed right.
Yeah.
Skimmed right through it, and then Jake was sitting across. He's like, you know, that's a 1-of-1, right? I'm like, I didn't even.
Ramondre
notice.
I was like,
Stevenson,
because in our world, Ramondre is sleevable.
Yeah.
That we've already determined that we sleeve. Jay
Yeah.
and I sleeve every Ramondre. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter because He's from Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay.
We love him.
So we give him some Vegas love.
He had another 2 touchdowns.
And
And
he
100
did.
yards.
Yeah,
Because
he
he came
did.
in, Harris pulled his hamstring, and
your boy put up 50
Stevenson
spot.
came in, he rolled for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Again.
Can't beat that.
You can hang out with us for a minute?
No, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna let
All
y'all
right.
do your thing.
You can hang out with us. We're just, doing
We're just about to go over investments.
We are. We're about to go over investments.
Plus and minus.
That's what I do got to pay attention to. Because then hopefully I can sell some. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But it does happen. The hits do happen here, and they're big
Appreciate
hits,
it,
man.
buddy.
I love
Thank
it.
you.
I love it.
Appreciate
Thanks
that,
for
man.
joining,
Bro.
Y'all have a good day.
Have a good
Good
one.
work, man. Way to rock it.
All right, that brings us right into the plus and minus with Steve.
Yes, sir. So, this is the time of the year where we start talking less football. And the reason being is because most of this stuff has started, well, as far as investments go.
Yeah.
Because all the chips are pushed in the middle now, and the dust is settling, right? There's deals out there, and there's guys to be had. Like, I'll still tell you, I told you a few weeks ago, like, buy Hurts, buy Hurts, buy Hurts. I had a customer here in the store. He does big stuff and ended up buying Jalen Hurts, just a small card from you. And I just to keep a look at it, 2 weeks later, the card's up $40. He's made $40 in 2 weeks.
It almost came
Hurts is
crashing
legit.
down with those fans that almost landed on him, too.
Yeah, they almost killed
That
him.
was kind of scary, though,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, and the guy played it off like a champ.
Yeah, he's like,
He did
started
just
taking hugs and pictures and
hugs.
all the
You know,
Eagles fans laying on their asses.
Although, you know what I was thinking? Watch this week him going to COVID protocol. That would be the worst luck ever. But anyways, I'm not wishing that upon him. But no, seriously, like, kind of there's some still good investments and good things that you can pick up out there. But I want to talk baseball, and because guys are kind of being not talked about and some things are being missed, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is an absolutely incredible investment right now. You can buy this PSA 10 right now for $1,400. For $1,400.
That's the top scrum.
Put that into perspective with the Ohtani and some of the other stuff in that class of cards. And this guy's a perennial all-star. This guy's going to hit 40 home runs probably here for the next few years. He's going to be a big deal. And when baseball season kicks back up, people are going to be blindsided by it, and his market's going to explode, right? So Vladimir is an absolute buy right now, and you can get the mid-range stuff, like PSA 10, like refractor colors numbered of 100 for $500. Like it's crazy numbers that are available out there for this guy, and he's got a very good team around him. His team is actually going to be better. He's going to be a lot more competitive. He's going to be a talk. So definitely a good investment. Something that came up over the weekend, and there was so much football that you almost missed it.
Right.
There was discussions about the Baseball Hall of Fame. And they were polled, and they got 26% of the ballots that were cast to give them information on Barry Bonds. And Barry Bonds, according to that, would only need 72% of the rest, the other 75% of the ballots, to go into the Hall of Fame.
This is his last shot.
They're saying that number equates to him making it into the Hall of Fame based on previous years, where they've been able to take numbers and poll so many people and what the rest kind of fall in line with. The guess is he'll come back with about 78% of the vote, so he'll clear what he needs. Now,
So do you think it's because it's his last time, and then the writers and everyone else who vote for this, which I still think is kind of
It's a joke.
you're having people
It's a
that,
joke.
that know nothing about baseball,
Correct.
and they have their own opinions that they, if this guy's a dick to me when I interview him, guess what?
I'm
not
voting
going to
for him.
vote for him.
Right.
And that shouldn't have anything. It should be.
well,
done
here's
by
what's happened.
the
What you
GMs
did
or
on the field,
players,
yes.
and yes,
You've got a turn of the tide over the last 5 years in that Writers Association of guys who never had experience with Barry Bonds, and all they remember was when they were kids watching him hit jacks.
Yeah.
Right.
So because of that, that's why you're seeing a turn in the tide. That's why you're seeing a 20% difference in push. That's
And
where
I
it's
also
at.
think a lot of the writers, no, hands down, the guy's a Hall of Famer. He should have been a first ballot.
So is Roger Clemens, and Clemens is not going to get in.
Correct.
And to me, that's a travesty.
100%. That's terrible that
Totally
these guys
true.
can do their whole career. And yes, they all got popped for steroids.
Right.
But at that point in the game, who the hell wasn't doing steroids?
Well, I mean, Andy Pettitte got popped.
They all were doing
Right?
it. If they weren't
Andy
doing
Pettitte
steroids,
did.
they were doing HGH. And if they
Yeah.
weren't doing HGH, they were doing some sort of.
Well, and my buddy will tell
supplement to
you,
get that up.
we'll go back in time, and in the 70s, guys were doing greenies, talking
Yes.
about they could see blades of grass moving in the outfield. Like, there's always been something.
Right.
Right? There's always been something.
And there's
I would
something
even
today
say there's
going on.
something right now.
And we just don't know what it is.
Right. Right. Well, it's growth hormone being masked tremendously better is what it is.
And they're covering it up just a little bit.
It's being used appropriately because now teams are no longer having guys self-medicate themselves. Anyways, that's still out there. But I'll tell you the thing that's going to happen is that when Bonds gets in the Hall of Fame, there's going to be all this crazy talk about Bonds. But that isn't necessarily going to equate to an investment in our world. Because what happens is you might see a little spike, but I think that already the premium cards for Barry Bonds are already over-realized in the market, and people actually ask way more than they actually sell for. Mm-hmm. So, for example, that Topps Tiffany 10 is, in November, sold for $7,000. And they've been selling for about $7,000 on average. One sold this month, right? One sold this month for $11K. Now, that spike difference, that's that anomaly. Someone just really wanted one. It's most likely what that is. That's not a realized number across the board, not where I think it would be. Those $7,000 cards might settle at $8,000, but I don't know if that's a good enough investment. I don't know if that is. Now, what I do think you could do, though, is you could buy some of the lower-end stuff, some of the basic tops traded, especially sets, unsearched sets, to grade yourself. Or what I'm noticing is, and it looked like someone already pulled this off, and I went to look and see what I could find. BCCG has quite a few of these graded 10s out there. The realized numbers, just to give you an example, $400 for a BCCG 10.
Wow.
Well, why wouldn't you crack that and take a shot for $400? That's worth
Especially
it.
now, PSA just announced this last week, starting the first of the year, that they're at a $100 service now. Finally, guaranteed $100 service. It's a 4-month turnaround, and the thing is, you'll get your card in 4 months.
Yeah.
Jake's looking through some collection I brought in, and he just showed up a sign that said dog shit. There's nothing in there but dog dookie. All right, so that's good.
But yeah, so anyway, so as far as this goes, I don't think Bonds is going to be a big time investment for you guys. Don't fall into the rabbit hole of all of a sudden the media talks about him for 10 days, shows all these highlights, shows all the 755s and all the home runs.
And then the nostalgia
all
starts
that stuff.
picking back
And
up.
everybody gets excited because the Tiffany's, no one's going to be able to afford. The Fleer Glossies are probably going to be a better spot for you to be able to invest into because those you're going to be able to double your money on. Whereas there's no way on the Tiffany's and that stuff you're going to be able to do that.
I've always said it since day one. The way you want to invest is you want to invest in a card that you know you can make at least 33% on.
Yep.
If you're not going to make 33% on that card, there's really no point to even buying it. Because if you're buying that card and hoping you make 20%, if you go to flip that onto eBay, now you're paying eBay fees and PayPal fees, and now it's down to like 17 to 16%. That small margin gives you too much margin of error. For you to make money, it's not going to happen. And I tell the guys this all the time when they're buying in the shop. Guys come in and they're like, "Oh, I want 80% of comps." Listen, I can't pay you 80% of comps because in 2 weeks, if that card drops down 5%, I lose money.
Right.
There's no way for me to pay you 80%. I'm not the end collector. I'm flipping. I'm selling. I have a store. I have employees.
You have overhead.
Oh, we can't pay 80%. We have to pay closer to 60%. And if you bring in more cards, then we can pay you a little bit higher because we're getting more cards and better opportunities to make money.
Right.
But if you bring in one card and say, I want 80%, I can't do it.
Right.
I'm not the end. If it's a card that I personally want for my PC and I'm not planning on selling it, total different story. As investment-wise, we're just buying this stuff to flip it. There has to be at least 30%.
Exactly.
Because you have to give yourself some source of variant to where you don't have to worry if that guy doesn't play good for 2 weeks and you throw it up on eBay and now it sells for 20% less than what you bought it for.
You're screwed.
You have no chance.
Exactly. Well, speaking of investments, don't you have a lot riding on this next coming Sunday night game? Who are you going for, by the way? Because if you don't know, if you haven't heard, the Raiders and Chargers game got flexed to Sunday Night Football because this is basically like an extra playoff game.
5:20 kickoff. The NFL got
in Las Vegas.
Got a Christmas present in January.
Are we going? That's the question.
Oh, I'm going. There's no doubt I am going.
So I haven't went to a game all year,
and I feel like I need half gear.
and I'm gonna go. So I was just talking to my brother. I'm like, man, and we have Matt Desduarte flying in from out of town. He won a trip to Las Vegas and tickets. And guess what game he picked to go to?
That one.
He gets a chance to go see
the
Chargers Raiders.
Yes.
Here, I'll tell you
what.
Okay, I'll tell you what. My other seat's open. It's yours if you want it.
I'm in. I'm there.
Jimmy's going with me to the game. My seat's full.
I'm going for sure.
Because I want someone to go that's going to be all about the game.
Who are you cheering for?
I'm going to be wearing my Raider gear. I'll wear my Raiders hat. I'll wear my Raiders sweater, my Raider jersey, and I'm cheering for the damn Chargers, baby. I have so much money invested in Justin Herbert right now. I need a long playoff run. I have thousands of dollars invested in this kid. And don't get me wrong. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's going to be a great buy. He's still a great buy right now because I think he's going to continue to tick up and up and up. But if I could get a long playoff run right now, these long-term holds that I was going to hold for a year to 2 years, you better believe that shit. If they make the Super Bowl, the playoff right before the Super Bowl, cashing in, baby.
You can think, too, that he's got 2 seasons of 40 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's insane. Mm-hmm. It's insane.
Yeah. The numbers that this kid is putting up shows you he's the real deal.
And keep in mind, and don't get me wrong, and I'm a Chargers fan. You know this, right? Keenan Allen's a nice receiver. Keenan Allen, I can pick 15 teams he's not the number one on if he goes over there, right? He is doing it, and he's done it with a bunch of injured guys, and they've had a revolving door.
Yeah.
Out there this year for him, and he's just continued to produce.
He does not have nearly the weapons.
Give Josh Palmer a name, come on.
Right.
Josh Palmer.
Put him on the Bengals, he does the same thing that Burrow's doing right now.
Right.
400 or 500 yards, 3 touchdowns. The guy has a serious arm. He's a serious quarterback. He looks apart. He looks like freaking Thor, Greek goddess running out there. It's like, if you wanted a quarterback, that's the guy you draft. You're like,
I do want to say, I want. I do want to say, though, I got to give Carr a bunch of credit.
Oh, yeah.
And that he was adverse. He threw picks, right?
He looked terrible.
And he came back, and he made good throws, and he made some crazy ones. But I'm going to tell you now, Hunter Renfrow, and I joked at the beginning of the year, and I was saying that he was third and Renfrow, right? Third and Renfrow was my thing, right? That dude is 100% legit.
Yeah.
And investment advice, right? If they make the playoffs, you better snatch some Hunter Renfrow up because him and Cooper Kupp are going to be all the people talk about during the playoffs.
Yeah, look who Carr's throwing
those two.
Like, he's ordered Hunter Renfrow and Zay Jones.
Yeah.
The same Zay Jones that tried to run through a glass window with his brother like 5 years ago when he played for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
You look at the guy, like Darren Waller's is number one. He was out.
Yeah.
He's been out.
Yep.
He's not looking to he won't be back.
He won't be back for this week.
Morneau, yeah.
Foster Moreau sucks. I played him in a championship game the other day. He sucks. He had 0 points, 4 quarters.
He's not a guy that he's a blocking tight end. He was drafted to block for Josh Jacobs.
And then you lose your number one receiver, Henry Ruggs, because the guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
It's like, and then what does Derek Carr do? He shows up, puts a smile on his face, brings the guys out there, and they win football games.
Although he does look like one of the villains from Home Alone. Did you see that where they put the side by side photos of his hair? Yeah, Marv. He definitely looks like Marv. And we should get shirts made, game day shirts, with his picture on it, and then put him Las Vegas Marv, and we should make that a thing.
Those.
We should make that.
Those in the third and Renfrow.
Yeah,
I think we could
third and Renfrow is a thing for sure.
Those. But yeah, like the Raiders, we love it. We're directly across the street from the practice facility. We see a lot of the guys coming in and out of the facility all the time. So it's good. We love it in Las Vegas. At least they have a chance. I'm going to be pulling for the Chargers. If the Chargers do lose, I'm going to be just as happy that the Raiders.
And that's where I'm at. And I'm a lifelong Chargers fan. And, I did the thing I had to do this year, which was I got season tickets, and I've definitely rooted for the Raiders when Chargers weren't playing them, or it didn't affect the Chargers. And now, obviously, I'm going to root for my Chargers, but definitely won't be upset if the Raiders make it to the playoffs. And what does that say for Bisaccia? I mean, they're going to be looking for a coach, but honestly,
if they make the playoffs, so this is how he saves his job. They make the playoffs and win a playoff game.
Yeah.
If they win a playoff game, you can't fire the guy. How do you fire a guy when he gets dealt that hand?
You wanted to fire him after he stomped on the Chiefs logo and Arrowhead.
Yeah, but now I'm totally reversed.
Oh, now you're on his team.
Yeah,
okay.
You know how that happens.
It's this week, bro. It's this week. But no,
What's
seriously,
happening
think
right
about it
now?
though. The dude got Gruden gone.
Yeah.
The Ruggs situation. Arnett toting pistols. Right? That's what he was handed.
Yeah.
Was that. Go ahead and give us a product. And he's given a product. He's put something on the field.
But
may not be perfect every week. Those guys are playing hard, though.
They're playing hard for him.
Yeah.
They definitely are. Max Crosby is
I love that guy.
stud, man.
I love Max
So I already
Crosby.
told everybody, I said, listen, the first guy, we haven't done a signing here at the shop, but the first guy we're getting in here is Max Crosby.
Yeah.
I want to meet that guy.
That guy's
Because that
awesome.
guy is 100 miles an hour. You can tell he loves football. He loves doing what he's doing. He's showing up at all these different things all over town. He's buying into Las Vegas and in the Knights games. And he's at the.
I told you what he
was
did with
incredible
my
for
son,
us.
right? You know what he
Yeah.
did with my son. Yeah, my son works at a little coffee shop. He's 15 years old. He's learning how to get a job, right? And through a mutual friend, somebody that had worked there, they asked him to come in because my son's a huge Raiders fan because they're Las Vegas Raiders. And he actually came in, got coffee from him right away. Tyler recognized him. The dude's huge, right?
Yeah.
So he's like towering over, and he gave my son $100 tip for the $4 coffee that he made him, and then he took pictures with him and signed stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah,
for him.
when he was
great.
incredible for us at Unicon. He came out and he signed extra time and didn't, whereas other guys usually. So, I'll tell you now, and on top of it, the stuff he's done for Pitbull Rescue and all this stuff, and everything that he's doing in this town, he's got a fan in me. Right, for sure. So absolutely pulling for that guy, and he disrupted at the end of the game. It won't go down not on paper or anything like that. He disrupted Carson Wentz on their like fourth down play, right there at the end.
Just got in his face.
Got in his face, and he caused the poor throw.
Yep.
It wasn't Wentz threw the ball bad. He didn't have anywhere to throw the ball. He had giant mitts over his face. It was impressive. But it's gonna be a tough weekend for you because you're gonna be conflicted.
I can't wait.
Jimmy,
to
you're
watch
going to
it.
the game.
All right, I would love to. I haven't went all year, and it's time. Let's real quickly, before we close up shop, jump into Jay's Fantasy Roundup.
This will be a real quick one. We actually kind of talked to the guys beforehand. Just keep in mind, a lot of people out there, maybe their fantasy championships were already this week. They may have stuff riding on tonight's game with the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Funny line on that too, with the Browns getting eliminated yesterday in the games. That line changed. It went from Cleveland being favored by 3.5 points to now Pittsburgh's favored by 3 points.
That many points.
Yes. So if you would bet Cleveland early in the week, which I did on Thursday, you can actually middle it, and you get a 6-point cushion right there, because if you go take the other side, you get a 6-point cushion, so you can actually win both sides. So hopefully you.
That doesn't happen often.
It doesn't happen very often, no. Just with the Browns getting eliminated, but you know what? Both teams are eliminated from the playoffs, so I don't know why it'd be that big of a swing. Maybe it's Big Ben's last game, so maybe they're thinking that it's going to be.
Steelers still have it's a crazy outside chance.
I mean, it's so
There's
outside that,
but they do have a Chargers lose, Titans lose, Ravens lose.
Right.
They're in if they win.
Yeah. Oh, I know what it is.
This week and
They
next
need a
week or something.
Natural disaster.
Of course.
to happen where the floods come in, take down a stadium. They don't play.
They
the
need
game.
a tornado in Las Vegas.
COVID to happen where the Raiders. Chargers game, they call it off, and then they just say, "All right, you're in, Steelers."
It ain't happening.
That's the only way
it
they
ain't
can-
happening.
Right.
But just be on the lookout. Also, a lot of people play FanDuel. Michael Gallup is out for the year. He tore his ACL, or MCL. So he's done for the year. And also be on the lookout, especially with the playoffs coming up, Ronald Jones. So now Leonard Fournette's on the IR. Yeah. Ronald Jones is now hurt. He's banged up. He came out of the game. So you may see a little Keyshawn Vaughn and Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell enters the chat. Le'Veon Bell could actually be a key piece in Tampa Bay Buccaneers playoff run coming up.
And I was seeing a thing that actually was saying that if you're in the like the DraftKings dailies in the playoffs, that he is like one of the players that's like the sleeper to get.
Yes.
Because he could come off and be the third down back getting
Well, that's
touches.
what I'm saying. So a lot of fantasy seasons are done, right? They're over with, like the season long, but you still have the weekly ones and you still have playoff challenges coming up. So we'll still throw out some stuff. I'll start going forward. I'll start kind of throwing out guys that I like that are cheap prices, everything like that, and we'll start to get into a little bit of basketball too, because I know that basketball is going to be the main thing coming up.
Right,
Obviously, we talked off the air about DeMar DeRozan in basketball. If you have a chance to go out and get this guy in a trade, go out and get this guy. This guy's absolutely on fire.
And he's not slowing down.
And he's not slowing down at all whatsoever. You got Kyrie coming back, obviously, as a part-time player, so I want to see what happens with that. I know he's coming back very soon. And then you have Klay Thompson and Wiseman coming back for Golden State.
And when that happens, keep in mind, that takes points off the board for other guys.
Correct.
So if you have like Jordan Poole,
that's what I'm saying.
And you see those guys come back, that might be a time where you go make a move
Shit
and pick
Poole.
up Alonzo Ball or one of those players like that that's going to give you some extra numbers. Derrick Rose should be back at some point this season. He's going to take numbers away from Julius Randle.
That's what I'm saying. There's moves to be made still, so you can ship a guy off, like you said, like with Poole. Even though he may not drop like a rock, it's going to hit his numbers a little bit with these guys coming back.
So, real quick, going back to football and Dynasty, is there anybody that's sitting on a waiver wire right now, or most of the players are already picked up, but one guy that you can think of that you should be targeting going into next year on the Dynasty?
Not targeting, but there's always guys that pick up on the waiver wire, and the guy I'm looking at that isn't owned in any of my leagues that I just looked at is Antoine Wesley, the tight end for the Arizona Cardinals. They didn't use to throw their tight ends very much. He had 2 touchdowns yesterday, and it's like his 3rd touchdown in like 4 games. So like he's somebody that I look at, especially when tight ends are a dumpster. Well, if you have a tight end premium league, it's good, but they're a dumpster fire once you get past the top like 5 guys. Because tight end 6 through 47 is all the same guy. So I always go out there and look for those little diamonds, like you said, and just throw them on your roster. Like usually in Dynasty, rosters are a bigger roster. You usually get like 25 or 30 guys on a roster because you're keeping them, year after year. He's someone I would kind of just pick up and maybe just stash. Because tight ends are hard to come by unless you have Kittle, Mark Andrews, Darren Waller, Kelsey. Other than that, like the bottom half is just terrible.
And something else that I've got a buddy that, he did this, and I couldn't believe he was able to do it. Derrick Henry, because he was on the IRR, got dropped by guys that had playoff rosters they needed to fill, and if they had him on their playoff roster, they dropped him. And he was going out in his leagues, and he was picking Derrick Henry up because he was keeping him for next year.
That's a terrible mistake by the person that dropped him.
I know, but he was doing it because their guys are so wrapped up. This is what happens, right? What did you do for me this week? Guys are making that mistake. So if you can take advantage of it, they can be there.
Smart moves were right before the playoffs started. Is a lot of people were trading Derrick Henry, who was on their IR, trading him for a guy that was actually playing. Like say you trade your Derrick Henry for a Dalvin Cook. Now, that guy that had Dalvin Cook, he's out of the playoffs. He just takes Derrick Henry, slides him onto his IR. You get to play Dalvin Cook and go try to win a championship. And this guy will have Derrick Henry next year. You have Dalvin Cook. So it's like an even trade. That way you don't lose 5 championships like I did.
Just jumped out and he said, "Thank you so much for the Wesley. I'm picking him up in every league." So Fuentes is all over it now.
Well, good luck for him because waivers don't run until Wednesday morning. So he can't just go
once
pick him
again,
up.
the commish gets you. Once again, the commish always gets you.
So tell him congratulations on that.
That's good advice. Hey!
Whoa.
It finally got you. The back of the chair. I love that it starts the new year off that way.
I almost
because
went
I brought it up to
better
him.
if I went down on live camera.
I brought it up to him. I went in to do a break. I went to pull the chair out, and the whole back just came off of my hand.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, "Did you know that this is happening? Did you know what it is?" And I put it back and it's fine. But he's like, just whatever, leave it, it'll be fine. And it was you that almost had to pay the piper.
January 1st, I was supposed to lose some weight. I haven't started yet. Obviously, I need to. I can't even.
Just like the warehouse boy said on his ordering supplies. Yeah. It's the same thing.
Warehouse boys.
Warehouse boys.
All right, guys.
Video coming soon.
Well, thank you very much for the first episode of the new year.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys back here next Monday, 11 o'clock. Any last words for the boys, or that's it?
Come check me out halftime during the game tonight. I don't know how exciting the game's going to be, but we'll be opening and doing live rip and ships at halftime of the game tonight.
Yeah, this will be the last Monday Night Football Monday Blitz with Jay. And we'll come up with something new.
We'll come up with something new, but this will be the last Monday Night Football game of the season.
It will be.
Halftime of Monday nights, you can join us for Jay's Halftime Blitz, the sports card rip and ship show. You can get cool products, so make sure you check us out. Game Day Sports Cards. Let's go monster hunting.
I just wanted to throw that last
Yeah,
promo
I
in
like
there
it.
for the new year, and let's go monster hunting, guys.
Let's go.